friends and family. My name is Jada Brown Thompson, and I want to move to Jamaica. And a lot of you already know that because I have been very vocal on my channel about my desire for me and my family to relocate to Jamaica in the next few years. And recently I did a video where I was talking way too much and I was ranting about my reasoning for wanting to move. And most of it was about the lack of community and the lack of work-life balance that I feel like America has. And a lot of you have agreed with me and you have shared your experiences and your suggestions with me. And I really appreciate that. I got a lot of positive reviews, but one thing really stuck out in the comments, and people were like, girl, if you want to move and that's what makes you happy, I understand, but make sure that you have money, right? So like the financial component was a large part of the comments on the video. And I understand, right? Because anywhere you live in the world, you're going to need money. There's nowhere that I know of that you can live without having some type of income, right? So I wanted to come onto this video and I wanted to speak with you guys about my plan to move, how me and my husband plan on having that financial component in order to relocate to Jamaica. And I really want it to be a dialogue because I'm sharing my experience, but if you guys have anything that I missed or any suggestions, please comment down below and let me know how we can reach our goals faster. And if you got anything from this video, any tips or tricks, please make sure to subscribe to the channel and like this video. All right, so I want to get right into it. The first thing that I would say that you need to do, and the first thing that I did, was create a plan, right? Because if you fail to plan, you plan to fail. If you do not have a plan, you're not going to reach your goal, okay? And that's for anything in life. So the first thing that I did with my husband is we sat down and we decided, all right, we want to move to Jamaica in 3 years, right? That was our plan. And then we said, well, how can we get there? So as you guys know, you need money to move to Jamaica, right? And preferably you have US dollars coming in that you know, all right, I have this money, I'm good, I can survive. So we had to decide, how would we get US money in Jamaica? I'm 27, he's 30, so we're not near retirement age, we're not gonna have a pension, and we also do not have a trust fund, right? And I did not work remotely. I'm a real estate agent. He doesn't work remotely either, so it's not like we could retain the same jobs that we had in America in Jamaica. So we said, well, how can we relocate without having those things, right? And so the avenue and the way that we're gonna go is by using real estate, right? We decided, all right, we're gonna invest in real estate, and that's gonna give us the USD that we need to live in Jamaica. So once we had that general goal, then we had to break it down into further goals, and we had to say, all right, how many houses do we need to own in order to make X amount of money each month, right? And so we had to do the math, we had to run the numbers, we had to look at the expenses, how much would it cost to have a property manager because we won't be able to self-manage, what are those things that we have to pay for in order to have this income, right? And once we get our expenses, then we look at the income, we do the deductions, how much is left, and then how many houses would we have to own. So that's what we had to do. And then we had to break it down further and say, all right, if we want X amount of houses and we want to move in 3 years, how many houses do we have to buy a year, right? And then once you have that, then you have to break it down further and say, all right, we need X amount of money in order to buy a house. How are we going to make that money? So as you can see, it's a lot of planning that goes into creating your dream life, but it's worth it because you get to create your dream life that isn't just happening to you. You're taking life by the horns and you're directing where you want to go. So my first thing that I want to say to you guys is that you need to create a plan. You need to create goals, you need to have deadlines, and then you need to reevaluate, right? Because once you have your plan, it doesn't stop there. You have to make sure that you don't just write it down and then throw it in your nightstand. You have to make sure that you're actually reaching your goals. So one thing that we do in this house is that we have business meetings, right? And we reevaluate our plan and see if we're on target. And if we're not on target, we reevaluate the goal, the deadline, and we say, why are we not reaching our goals? Is it because we're watching too much TikTok? Is it because we're not making enough money? Are we not saving enough? And that's just what we have to do, right? So we reevaluate often, and during the time where we're reevaluating, there's no phones, no TV, no distractions, because we are literally crafting the life that we desire. So there can be no distractions because it's very serious, right? So that's the first thing that I want to say to you guys. Have a plan and then reevaluate that plan often. The second thing that I want to say is teamwork. Now, if you are married, then obviously your partner is your team, right? Or if you're moving with your children, your adult children, that's your team, right? Whatever your team is, or sometimes you could be a team of one. But specifically, I'm going to talk about having a spouse because that's the situation that I'm in, so I can't speak about the others. But as you guys know, I am married to my husband, right? Duh, I'm married to my husband. Anyway, I have a husband and we are a team, right? Me and him. And so we have had to create what works for us, right? So in terms of financial component, we have a house, right, that we pay a mortgage on. We also have to pay rent for an apartment. We also have a mortgage in Jamaica. So all of these things cost money, right? And so my point is, my husband pays almost all of the bills, right, with his income. And then with my income as a real estate agent, I am saving and I'm investing, right? And that's what works for us. So the way that we've broken down our bills is that we can pay all of our bills in America, but still with my income, we're saving and we're investing in real estate with my income. So as you can see, not everything goes to just our bills, right? And so you have to have a team in order to do that, because you don't want one person to feel like, oh, all my income is going towards the bills and they're just living frivolously. Like, no, I'm not living carefree. I am investing in real estate. I am investing for our children's education. I am saving for them to go to school in Jamaica. So I'm basically saying that make sure that you have somebody that you can build with, somebody that you can plan with, and somebody that's going to be a team player and understand why we're doing some of the things that we're doing, and make sure that they're willing to do those things. Okay? The next thing that I want to say in terms of teamwork is sometimes you have to live below your means, right, in order to get to where you're going. So for example, like I mentioned, we're paying 2 mortgages and we're also paying rent, right? And so the mortgage that we're paying here in America is on a house that we own, that we bought to rent out so we can live in Jamaica, right? And we're currently renting that out. I'm the landlord. And we're self-managing that property because it's part of our plan and the plan that we're working in order to move. So I am managing this property, right? But we also live in an apartment. And you may say, what sense does that make? Why do you live in an apartment and you have a house? Well, it was more advantageous for our situation to rent that house and save for another one, right? While we're getting income from that, we're getting, an extra $600 difference between the rent for that property and the mortgage, and we're saving that because that's going to be part of our income when we go to Jamaica. So we live in an apartment, right? And our house is way bigger than our apartment. It has a yard. It has all the things that one would want in their home, right? but I live in an apartment. So we have to live below our means to get to where we're going. This apartment is older. It's not a luxury apartment. And when we were first looking for apartments to move to, I wanted all the things that come with a luxury apartment. I wanted a gym, I wanted a pool, I wanted the club room, I wanted all of those things, and we could afford it. But my husband reminded me, yeah, you can have all of that now and pay almost $3,000 a month for a 2-bedroom, or you could wait and let us finish building our dream house in Jamaica, right? So it's like, do you want the temporary pleasure, or do you want that for the rest of your life? You can build a gym in your house. You know what I mean? There's so many things that you can do when it's your house, rather than just paying the rent for an apartment, and then next year the rent's going to increase by 6%, 10%, whatever it is. And then you're always in that constant hamster wheel because you're living, you know, at your means. You're not living below your means. So my point is teamwork. I live in an older apartment. Really and truly, I don't like it. I want to live somewhere newer, but I also understand that I want to also move to Jamaica. So this is what I have to do in order to get there. Okay? It just is what it is. And then even like we just bought a car. For the last 3 or 4 years, me and my husband have been sharing a car. It was a paid off, we still have the car, a Honda CR-V, right? When my children were born, we decided, all right, we don't need to share cars anymore because we're going from 2 people to 4 because I had twins. So we need to get a new car, and we decided that we were going to finance. When I first started looking for vehicles, we were looking at a 7-seater, right? I was really looking at either the BMW X5 7-seater or Volkswagen Keegan 7-seater. And both of those vehicles were well over 30,000 USD, right? And so we're looking at the cars, test driving. I finally found a Volkswagen Keegan that I really liked. It had this panoramic roof. And then we were like, you know what? Wait a minute. This doesn't make sense, because if we're here for the next 3 or 4 years, right? What do you need a 7-seater for? It's only 4 of us, it's not 7. And my reasoning for it was like, oh, well, if we have family come over, they can ride with us. But like, how often do you really have family over to justify this expensive vehicle, right? And my boys at this point are 1 year old, so it's not even like they take up that much room, right? Beyond just their car seat. So we were like, you know what? We're trying to go above our threshold. Let's dial it back down. And I ended up getting a Hyundai Sonata, a 2020, $13,000, low miles. The car is perfect. I love it. It's fast. It's everything that you want. But it cost me like half of the price of the 7-seater that I was gonna get. And I know eventually when I move, I'm still gonna have to get another car because we're moving out of the country. So my point is, you have to live below your means, and you have to work with your partner. Make sure that you guys are constantly checking in on each other to make sure that you're sticking to the plan, right? You have to stick to the plan. You have to evaluate, then reevaluate, and you have to live below your means. And I want to also say, you still have to live your life, right? We never know when God is going to take us. So don't consistently look towards the future but forget the present. Because yes, you need to save. Yes, you need to invest. Yes, you need to do all of these wonderful things. But you also want to live, because we only get one life. So in doing that, one thing that I used to do a lot was eat out. Me and my friends would eat out all the time. Restaurants, bars, go and get drinks. And it was eating my money. Like, I was literally like, my money, right? So the point that I'm trying to make is, you can still have fun, but you can do free things, right? So we live in the DC area. There is a plethora of museums that are free. There's nature trails. There, if you go on Eventbrite, you can find free concerts, free art, like all kind of things, like R&B concerts for free, right? So you're still enjoying your life, you're still having fun, you're still meeting people, you're still living in the present, but you're also still helping your future self, if that makes sense. So instead of eating out all the time, I cooked a lot of the things that I would get when I was eating out, which is, you know, helping my creative process. But I'm still having fun. Like, I recently just went to an outdoor concert. It was great. A lot of really cool indie artists were there, but I'm still enjoying myself. So that's basically how we are, I guess, doing the financial component to move to Jamaica. As you guys know, I've touched on this in some videos. We are building a house there, which is expensive. It's expensive and it's time consuming, but it's also really cool to be able to build a house that you like and you're building. So if you guys want me to talk about that in a video, I will. But my point is, just make sure that you guys are trying to figure out ways that you can cut costs, ways that you can save, and also invest, because you can save all day. You can save $100,000, but eventually you're going to use that money and now you're back broke. So you have to figure out ways that you can make money, and that's what we've done by saying that we're going to invest in real estate. I have seen what real estate can do for people. I've seen what it has done for my grandfather, who owns a lot of property, and he always has told me, like, make sure that you invest in real estate. So that's the avenue that we've chosen. And like I said, I'm going to be opening a business in Jamaica. My husband's going to be opening a business. But while it takes a while for business to do well, right? It takes a while for business to grow. So while that is happening, we still have the money coming in from the real estate. So we got one house already, and if you can get one, you can get 10, right? And we're building a house in Jamaica. So things are happening, things are going well, but I really wanted to come on here today and share what we're doing. And again, if you have anything that we can do to help, make sure to comment it down below, subscribe to the channel, and I will see you guys in my next video.